Hi, welcome to Ideal Homes 3-day webinar. I'm Angela, I'm the director at Ideal Homes. I've been here around 6 years now and I've been living in the Algarve for 15 years on New Year's Eve. I came over on my own 15 years ago without really thinking about where I was going to live. I just knew I was heading towards Portugal. Didn't learn much about it, and I'm really grateful that I chose Portugal because it's the third safest country in the world. Its weather is absolutely stunning and the people are amazing, so I'm quite lucky to be here. So a little bit about us, Ideal Homes. We're a real estate agents, but we do offer a lot of services as well. So everything you need to buy a property overseas, we can offer you. So we have experts in every area. So from now, when we first meet you, all the way through your purchase and beyond, we will be able to help you. And that's what you're going to find out about over the next few days. So we're going to start off with Charlie. So Charlie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so quite like Angela, I came here without knowing that I was really going to come here. I've been here a year and a half and I was on holiday, and after 3 weeks just thought, wow, this is a great country, I'm going to stay. So gradually, every time I go back to England, I bring more on the flight, like equipment and clothes and stuff like that. So I work as a real estate advisor at Ideal Homes, and I've been here a year and a half.
Okay, and Charlie's now going to give us a market update and tell us what it's like in the Algarve at the moment for buying property.
So in the Algarve at the moment, prices are fluctuating. It depends really on the seller's personal situation. So what we found recently is a lot of people are looking to move into Portugal and especially invest, and also some people want to retire. So we've been selling a lot of properties virtually over webinars. People are inquiring, they're going for our website, they're looking for mortgages, they're looking for golden visa, they need the NHR. So we'll get an inquiry and we'll call them.
It's kind of changed a little, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like from before, when everything was as normal, the normal world. People were coming over a lot, getting on the plane, flying over and looking at property. And of course that all ended and it wasn't easy to do. So we've had to change the way that we work, and I suppose everybody else has had to change the way that they buy a property.
Yeah.
And so virtual tours now have become extremely popular, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we seem to do quite a lot of them. And we're still selling the product, but through the virtual tours rather than people coming over. It's because there's deals to be had and there's bargains there, and people don't want to miss out on them, so they find a way to do it without having to fly. And do you find, what do you find with the prices and the deals from the developers and things?
So with the developers, normally they don't really negotiate. It's the fixed price, final price, but recently, as we've had a lot of clients specifically out of the EU looking for the golden visa or looking to get a really good investment, rent out the property and make some good income, they're happy to buy over the internet pretty much. You know, I'll get the developer to join a webinar on a Zoom call, show them around the development. It could be off plan, so there's not much to see other than the views at the moment, but that's why you're really going to make a profit if you come to sell. If it's not built yet, then you're going to make a profit when you do sell. So the developers have been giving us a couple of little discounts.
We're giving things like, in some cases, say, free management for condo management, aren't they, for a year or two and things like that. So sometimes it is a little bit of money off, but sometimes it's just something to help you start your, say, rental investment or whatever for the first year, and give you a bit of things like that, which we don't usually see, but at the moment they are coming through with them,
to keep the cash flow going. I mean, we don't know how long this kind of lockdown pandemic's going to go on for, but it's definitely made people feel more comfortable buying virtually if they can't get here.
And they do say that the bravest people who are brave in some crisis or something that's different, and they actually go and buy something, they're getting these discounts that are not normally there, and they're the ones that end up making the most money, because they've not waited for it to end, and then as soon as it ends, obviously prices will go up, the offers go, the deals go. And at the moment we have got quite a lot of bargains and good deals around, haven't we?
Yeah.
And which we'll be bringing to you over the next 3 days. Some really, really good offers. I think, I mean, we've got some properties with like thousands off, which are really good. And I think if you want to pick one of those up, now's the time to do it. And what about bank repossessions?
Bank repos. We've got a couple of good ones at the moment. The thing is with bank repossessions though, is that you really have to be here to snap it up. You've got to be here, you've got to go look at it the day that it comes to the bank or to the real estate agent, and you've got to go in there and make an offer straight away. It's not something that you can ponder on for a couple of days. For instance, the CEO, Chris, he bought a bank repo for just over 400 grand. He spent a couple of £100,000 on it, and now he rents it out for £6,000 a week, and he could sell it for over £1 million. So that was quite an individual case. He had to be there to get it. It's not something that he could have, he could have done a virtual tour on it maybe and then put an offer down, but they go very quickly.
Yeah, they are. They're snapped up very quick. We don't get a massive amount of them here. It's not like big developments and things like that. It's mainly individual properties that come along. So it is about being there at that time. So if you're wanting to get involved with a bank repossession, it's best to be in contact with us constantly, so that we can say, right, we'll have a look, see what's coming up tomorrow, see what's coming up day after, and then we can go and we can virtual tour it. And you have to then reserve it and get it there and then.
Yeah.
You can get good. I mean, we'll go through mortgages later on in the webinars, but getting a good bank repossession and then getting a really good rate on a mortgage and then renting it out for like 6,000 a week, it's kind of paid for everybody else is paying for your property. So it's a good thing to have. But like I said, just keep tuned. Charlie's details is going to be on the screen. So you'll be able to contact Charlie. Charlie can help you. She'll phone you. She'll do Zoom calls with you. She'll do virtual tours. She'll hook you up with one of the consultants to do these things as well. So we're all here. We're all ready to wait and listen to what you're looking for. So stay tuned. We're here for 3 days, and enjoy and take in the information and give us some of your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So here I am again on another sofa in another lovely property. And now I've been joined with Sasha. And Sasha, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I've been working for Ideal Homes for about 4 years. I've been living in the Algarve for about 35 years. And I have to say that I feel very privileged to live here. It's a wonderful environment, great climate, great people, very low crime rate, great food, great beaches, and so on and so on. So I have to say that I feel very lucky to live here.
And one of the few of us English expats that actually does speak Portuguese.
Well, yes, I had a Portuguese girlfriend, so she insisted I learn Portuguese, and it took me a couple of years, but yeah.
Once she learnt, she left you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us, this is Sasha's favourite. So we've been to John's favourite, and now we're in Sasha's favourite. So let Sasha tell you about this one.
So this is a resort called Valdemillu, which is situated in the heart of the Algarve, about a 5-minute drive from the really pretty fishing village of Cavero. It's composed of 32 properties, 2-bedroom townhouses and 3-bedroom townhouses, all with private swimming pools and gardens.
I will say it doesn't really feel like a townhouse either, does it?
No, it's the
the pool and the garden makes
absolutely.
it feel
No, I
different
mean
as well.
it's the size. It's the size of a villa. There's no question about that. So on the ground floor we have, a living room and dining room and a kitchen area, very spacious kitchen and separate toilet. And then upstairs we've got 2 bedrooms with bathrooms en suite, and really good sea views, because you're about a sort of 10-minute walk from the sea. So yeah, and
Which
then
is the nearest beach then? What is the?
I've forgotten the name of it, but it's literally due south of us here. So it's literally a 10-minute walk to the beach. A really nice beach.
I mean, there's so many along the coast, isn't there? So
Absolutely.
you forget which one's nearest.
Absolutely. And then what's also great about this one is that downstairs there is an absolutely massive basement. It's not prepared at the moment, but you could, if you wanted to, because there's natural light coming in from outside. There's some windows there. You could convert that and have a 3rd bedroom, or if you're talking about the 3-bed, a 4th bedroom. And there's enough space also to have a games room and a cinema room or something else.
So all the 3 you could put in there together.
Absolutely. It's absolutely massive. So there's lots of potential with this property.
Yeah, because that's the whole size of the downstairs that we're looking at now. So that is a massive area.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a massive area. Massive area.
Lovely.
And what's great about this development is actually part of a group. So this development is part of a group of 8 developments. 5 other resorts, so 6 resorts, all in the Cavero area, and also a golf course, a par 3 pitch and putt golf course, and also a tennis club, all owned by a Swiss-German company.
Good quality then.
Really good quality. Everything operates like clockwork, as you would expect it to. And as an owner here, you get a membership card that in the first year allows you to play golf for free at Valdemillu, and then afterwards some good discounts. And you get good discounts at the tennis center, which also has a pool, and I think it's got probably about a dozen tennis courts. We'll do some filming a little bit later there, so see what that's like. And there's also a pizzeria, and you get good discounts in the pizzeria. And then in the summertime, they also have sort of get-togethers. All the owners get together once a week, sort of a wine and cheese evening. So it's a really nice social environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. And quite unique that there is a swimming pool for every
Absolutely.
Every house.
I mean to have a private garden and a private pool in a townhouse, I think is I'm not sure that I'm aware of any like this in the Algarve.
This kind of development.
Exactly. And it's gated. It's an enclosed condominium. It's got a sort of a 24-hour reception, security 24 hours. So it's very safe. It's great if you are, not wanting to come here all the time. Come and go. It'll be completely safe when you're not here. And also, of course, it really works well as a rental income proposition. You need to use the resort to do that for you, but to tell you the truth, you would want them to do that. They've got a massive database of clients that they've built up since 1982. So when this resort opened up, they had instant 100% occupancy. This was the summertime, but it was instant. Yeah. So if you're looking at somewhere for you to come for yourself, as a sort of a home away from home, but also to generate really good rental income, then it works really well.
Good. I know it's got quite, is it nearly full occupancy now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in the middle of things as they are at the moment.
I mean, for this day, we've had to pick a very specific day and time to be able to come into the property, in order to do the filming, because of course, it was occupied yesterday and it'll be occupied again tomorrow.
And I think it is the uniqueness of the swimming pool that's actually encouraged the occupancy, because people aren't having to share a pool with other people at the moment. That's something that they'd rather not do.
Absolutely. And what we've done is we've negotiated with the owners, especially for this webinar series, where we've been able to get a sort of a 15% discount
Wow.
off the asking price for 4 units, a 3-bedroom unit and 3 2-bedroom units. So normally the 2-bedroom units are going for 468, and we've got them down to 395,000.
That's amazing.
Which is really good.
It is,
really
yeah.
good, because I think they were sort of priced quite competitively before the discount.
Yeah.
And then the 3-bedroom has been reduced from 595 down to 495. So again, you know, a really good price.
Yeah,
really good
they're
price.
going to go quick, and there's only
Absolutely.
4. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
there's more available, but there's only 4 at that price.
Absolutely. So, you know, we've been able to negotiate sort of a limited, or for a limited time only, you know, for this webinar series, this sort of prices.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you could go into one of these at quite a low level in cash if you've got a mortgage.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's furnished.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
air
it comes fully furnished. They're all identical to each other. So it basically comes with everything in it. It's actually rated by the Algarve Tourism Board as a 5-star hotel. They come and inspect it,
Yeah.
and it's rated at a 5-star level. And they come anonymously, you know, as guests. So, you know, you've got to keep everything going really well in order to be able to maintain that sort of 5-star quality.
Very good. Yeah. And obviously we're not far from, like you say, a lot of places that you can go to, like Corvero, and there's a lot of little places like Benijil and places
so
like
you've
that.
you've got, you know, within sort of a 10-minute drive of where we are now, you've got probably half a dozen beaches. You've got Praia de Marina Beach, which is on many lists as one of the top 10 beaches in the world. And that's probably a 10, 12-minute drive from where we are now. So you've got a 5-minute drive into the center of Corvero itself, which is a really pretty fishing village, lots of restaurants and cafes there. And then you're about sort of a 15-minute drive into the town of Portimao, which is where I live. You know, that's got all the infrastructure you want. It's got lots of shopping centers, lots of restaurants and cafes. It's got a water slide park. In Corvero itself, we've got 3 golf courses. Portimao's got another 3 golf courses. So it's got pretty much everything. It's got a marina. So, you know, within sort of 15 minutes drive of this resort, you've got pretty much everything on hand. And then from Faro International Airport to here, it's probably about a 40-minute drive. So, you know, along the motorway. So it's really accessible.
Yeah, great location. I know we like to come down this end of the coast because of the beaches, the Benijils and all those, the little
Absolutely.
beaches with the caves, and the ones that are the famous for, isn't it, with what you see on all the posters, all those kind of beaches around this area.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, that is a really good deal. And if anybody wants to take that up, they will go quickly. So Sasha's details are here on the webinar for you. Give him a shout because he knows absolutely everything about this. And then we're going to follow this up with you getting to see this property and every part of it. And I assure you, you'll think it's fantastic because it is a really stunning property. See you soon.
Bye.
So hi Cristina. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Cristina. I'm the mortgage advisor for Ideal Homes Portugal. I've been working for the company for 6 years, and we also work with all the major banks in Portugal.
Okay, so what would a client need to do to start with to be able to start the process of a mortgage, say on a property like this?
We send you over a mortgage pack, which has all the information on all the documentation that you need. And we also pre-qualify you. So what that is, it's an inquiry form, which asks you all your personal details, your age, income, and obviously expenses. And we pre-qualify you on that. So if you've got, for example, this great property, if you know the purchase price, we'll be able to say, yes, the bank will finance so much. If you're not sure on what budget you should be looking at from the information based on the inquiry form, we're able to let you know your affordability and send you a simulation.
Which is always a good idea to get a pre-approval before you start looking, really, because you might think that you can only afford so much, or you might think you can afford more than you can. So if you get that, at least when we start looking for the properties for you, we're not looking at something that's out of the range, which would make the process a lot longer. So what age group would you need to be able to get a mortgage?
We have one bank that finances 80% up to the age of 80 years old, and the other banks finance 70% up to the age of 75 years old. So the banks, the way the banks work it out is they'll always go from the oldest candidate. So if you're 60 years old, for example, you can take a mortgage for 20 years.
And what length of time is the most you can take that out? If I was 18, for instance?
Maximum of 40 years.
Okay, and 18 is the minimum age, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, and what are the rates like at the moment?
At the moment, it's around 1.1, 1.2%.
It's very good, and that doesn't really change. That's been there for a long time, hasn't it? And there's no look of future change in that.
Yeah, no, not at all. At the moment, on a variable rate, like I say, it's around 1.1, 1.2%. You've also got the fixed rate, which the longer you fix the term for, the higher the rate is. So 5 years is around 1.7%.
Okay. And what Cristina will do is look at your circumstances and actually what your future plans are, and she will advise you on what mortgage to take. For instance, I recently had a mortgage with the intention of, I was selling a house at the time, so I wanted a mortgage to get the house I wanted, and then I was going to pay some of that mortgage off very shortly down the line. And so I got a variable rate because it only cost me 0.5% to actually pay off some of the money, so which is really low. They're not big penalties, and so Cristina would also look at that and say, well, if you're not intending to pay anything off it, and you want it for a long time, and it's an investment, you might go for a more of a fixed rate rather than a variable. And so you will get free advice. And Cristina's service to you when you buy your property with Ideal Homes is a free service. And it is very helpful to you because basically Cristina does all the work.
But just to go back on that, Angela, by law in Portugal, there's an early repayment penalty fee, which is 0.5%. So as an example, for every 10,000 euros you pay off, the bank will charge you 50 euros. If it's on a fixed rate, the fee is 2%.
Yeah, so like when I paid quite a chunk off, it didn't affect me. It didn't really cost me any money as such. It was worth doing. So Cristina, can you just explain the process from start to actually purchasing the property?
So once you've got a purchase price in mind, or you've been pre-qualified and we've received the pre-approval, we ask for your documentation, which is the normal 6 months bank statements, pay slips, a credit report. One of the requirements is a Portuguese tax number, which a lawyer can get for you. Once we receive all the documentation, we send it to all the banks we work with. Once we get the approval, the next step is opening up the bank account. So the bank will do that for you. And the first fee, which is for the evaluation fee, which is €239.20. The bank will contract an independent evaluator to evaluate the property. Once we receive the reports, it also depends on which bank you decide to go with. The bank that finances 80% up to the age of 80 years old, they require life insurance. So if you've already got life insurance in place, we can always send the policy through to the bank. as long as your insurance company will add the bank on as a beneficiary. Life insurance is mandatory. The other banks that finance 70%, life insurance is not mandatory. But at this point, if we do need to do the life insurance, we've already got everything in place. Once we receive the evaluation report, the bank issue the final offer letter. From there, there's a 7-day reflection period, and then we book the deed.
Okay, quite simple.
It's very simple. Once I've got your documentation, I'll do the rest.
And a very often asked question is, can people take rental income into consideration when applying for the mortgage?
Rental income in where you live or where your tax returns are, if it's on your tax returns, yes. But if in Portugal, the bank won't look at the purchase as that's your future plan, you're looking at renting it at the moment. But if you'd like to buy a second property, as long as it's declared and everything is on your tax returns, you can.
Thank you, Cristina. Well, if anybody would like more information or you would like to speak to Cristina one-to-one, and obviously finance is always a personal thing, so it's sometimes better to speak to someone individually. All the details will be there for you on the webinar, so you'll be able to contact Cristina directly or contact one of those consultants that can help you with the properties, and then later down the line introduce you to Cristina. Thank you. Thank you,
Let me
Cristina.
also just say something. From the inquiry form and pre-qualifying, even if you think your situation is a little bit different, if you send us all the information, we'll be able to work out a way for you. There's always a way. For example, if you've got, because the way the banks work it out is based on your income and your expenses, so expenses being loans, any credit cards or existing mortgages, car loans, any loans that you've got, including the finance in Portugal, cannot exceed 35% of your income. So even if your situation is a bit more difficult or different, we'll be able to guide you in the right direction. You might not be able to purchase right now, but then in 3 months we've got 3 months to work it out for you.
So you kind of you can change the circumstances of what the situation is at the moment and advise on how to make it so they can get a mortgage. Okay. Thank you, Cristina.
Hello and welcome. My name's Ben Salfali and I am here to bring you another update with regards to what's going on globally with the whole COVID-19 situation. Many of you are left wondering what exactly is going on over here in Spain. So I'm going to give you a bit of a breakdown as to what's going on and what we can do in order to take the necessary precautions. And if you have an interest in property, what we can do to help further assist you. So since the end of June, the state of emergency has stopped. We are now officially out of the state of alarm and we can now travel quite freely from region to region, although there are necessary precautions which have to be adhered to. Now, I'll try and cover them as in depth as possible, but obviously please remember that it will differ from region to region. So, as I say, since coming out of the state of emergency at the end of June, there's been a 4-step program that the Spanish government have implemented to help keep everyone as safe as possible. This includes wearing a mask for anyone aged over the age of 6 years old. This can be anywhere where you cannot adhere to social distancing. So it can be a petrol station, it can be a shopping centre, it could be a corner shop, it can be absolutely anywhere where you cannot basically keep your social distance. Now, if you cannot wear a mask for any particular reason, then you will have to provide proof that it's either causing you anxiety or for any other medical reason. Otherwise, there are hefty fines that you will need to pay in order to not wear a mask. So most people here are actually taking it very, very seriously. Everyone is wearing a mask, everyone is adhering to social distancing rules, and you really don't see large gatherings, even on beaches, beach restaurants and any sort of public space, which will at this time of year be heavily populated with tourists and residents alike. You really don't see it here. So people are taking this very seriously indeed. Now, everyone, as I say, must wear a mask over the age of 6, but that's not the only necessary hygiene precaution people are requested to take. In most of the shops, and especially if you go into any sort of public place, you'll find that hygiene dispensers, in fact free PPE, including masks and gloves, are freely given out to keep everyone safe and to ensure that hygiene levels are kept to the highest standards. This not only includes shops, but also train stations, bus stations, and of course on trains and buses, and at airports and on planes as well. Now, in terms of any sort of sporting events or large gatherings that could take place, they've all been cancelled. And that's obviously to keep people, again, as safe as possible. And these precautions are probably the same precautions you're experiencing in your local area as well. So there's really no difference. Now, how has this affected the property market here? I think the first mode of thought was that the property prices will drop and drop considerably. This really hasn't happened at all, in fact. The new build developments have really kept their price, and they are exactly the same price as before we went into the pandemic situation in May. So realistically, I would say that the only drop in price that you can expect to see are from private vendors, and this will be circumstantial. If a vendor needs to sell and they are willing to drop their price by, let's say, 5 to 7%, then you will see a small movement in the market there. But otherwise, I think even resale properties are holding their own as well. Not to say that you cannot grab some fantastic bargains, but when they're around, they're not around for long. So if you are presented with an opportunity and you do have the option to come over and actually have a look, I would urge you to do so. Among the top people buying at the moment are people from France and from Belgium, as they can quite easily access the area without having to fly. Now, that doesn't mean people from the UK are not buying. What it does mean is that they're buying remotely. And what they're able to do is put down deposits on properties that they think are going to be convenient for them, with the view of flying over once restrictions are lifted. And if for any reason it doesn't meet their requirements, they will receive a full refund on their reservation fee. So it does mean that if you do have an instance where you think to yourself, well, actually, I know the area, I know the property, I know the location quite well, and I would like to buy in that area, and we present to you maybe some viable options, and you want to maybe put down a reservation because it's too good of an opportunity for you to miss, rest assured that if it's not to your taste, you will be able to receive a full refund. Now, this also means that clients from the UK and in fact elsewhere in Europe are not booking hotels. So what this means is that Airbnb has seen a significant rise over the last 4 weeks, but not with apartments close to the coast, which is more traditional at this time of year for people to be looking into. But actually villas, maybe half an hour drive away from the coastline, but with access to a private pool and close to all amenities. So we can see, looking at the statistics, that people are still considering a holiday here. People are still coming over, but they're just doing it in a different way and in a different method. So since the state of emergency was lifted, the construction process has really gone full speed ahead, and developers are doing everything they can to deliver units on time to their clients. This does mean, however, they will be late and they may not meet certain deadlines, but they're not trying to cut corners by delivering products quicker. They're trying to make sure that the building quality and the standards are still remaining high, but they're trying to push things along as quickly as possible, just so that people can receive the keys as soon as possible so that they can start using and enjoying the property at their leisure. So please rest assured that, yes, we do know that the COVID-19 situation has had an impact. It's had an impact as to how people buy property and, in fact, how people view property. But what we're doing in order to combat that is we're offering virtual tours on properties, which means that we will actually take our mobile phones if necessary, and we will actually communicate with you via a video chat. We will walk around the properties and the locations so that you can get a very good idea as to whether or not it's for you. And you're then able to make a decision based on the information you receive. And this really is how people are buying properties currently. If this is something you're interested in, please feel free to get in contact with me and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Is property purchase safe at this moment in time? Absolutely, 100% yes. Everything is still as is. Everything is as normal with regards to the buying process, with regards to the facilities on hand. We have lawyers in place who will be able to, without a worry at all, be able to give you the necessary information and do their due diligence, making sure that the property purchase is not only legal but safe for you financially. So yes, there is absolutely no restrictions on buying property here whatsoever. So one of the areas I would like to introduce to you today is an area called Águilas. Águilas is a small seaport in the southeastern region of the Costa Blanca. It's near the province of Almeria and boasts a population of about 35,000 people. It offers lots to see and do, from yoga on the beach to wild beach walks. There are 9 blue flag beaches along a 28-kilometer coastline, and there is even a dog-friendly beach. And for anyone who doesn't know what a blue flag beach is, try saying that when you've had a few. It's basically an award which is granted to beaches which are very, very clean, and in order for you to keep that award you need to remain clean. So to have 9 blue flag beaches in the area just goes to show just how clean and just how much pride the locals have in the area. So because it's a small town, the area of Águilas retains a lot of the traditional feel and warmth of what you may traditionally sort of associate with Spain. The charm, there's lots to see and do, and in fact for 25 euros you can visit the 16th century castle of San Juan de las Águilas, which is basically a really nice boat ride. It's a very, very nice way to sort of look at the coastline of the Costa Calida and really sort of see everything in its entirety. So for 25 euros you can go and see a historical monument, and when you get there you even get treated to lunch. So it's not bad value for money either. And if boats are not quite your thing, like me, if you're a little bit seasick and you want to avoid boats, then how about taking a tour around a 16th century watchtower, once used as a vantage point to provide warnings to the local inhabitants of the imminent raids by the Berbers. So again, lots of history in the area. If it's maybe not historical monuments that you're after, maybe exploring the Sima Museum and also the aquarium, which was originally created to promote the attractions of the town. And it's a great place to take kids if you are sort of looking for an excuse to while away an afternoon. It's a great place to take kids, and it's free. So that's a top tip there. A go-to spot if you're looking for picture-perfect postcard material is Isla de Freo. It's basically a rocky island which you can either swim to or even take a small boat out to. It's a really, really nice area, and I do have to say the first time I went, it was a very much a wow moment for me. It's a really, really nice area, and it really is. If anybody's sort of wanting to have the sort of the backdrop to put on their computer, I would definitely recommend going there and taking a few photographs. There's archaeological museums, and there's even a grass weaving museum. I've never heard of one either, but there's one there. Aguilas has a very much a relaxed feel. It's very much traditional. You have the traditional square with all the cafes, all the restaurants sort of set around. You have the kids running around in the square. You have this, obviously the fantastic weather, and you've got access to, as I say, lots of beaches. So if you're looking for somewhere that's a little bit more authentic, and you're looking for somewhere that kind of has sort of, you know, kept hold of its original charm, I would definitely recommend Isla de Freo. Aguilas has a relaxed feel. There is plenty of culture, and when you're there, you will definitely know you're in Spain. There is no mistaking it. The airports which are close by are Almeria, Murcia, and Alicante. So you've got a choice of three. The accessibility and the best way to get there, I would say, would be Murcia and Almeria. Almeria would take just over an hour by car. So if you are wanting somewhere that's a little bit more traditional, I would urge you to have a look at Aguilas. But let's go over to a property and see what you think.
We're going to touch on Spanish mortgages now. So Sasha's going to help us guide us through that. We do have a mortgage consultant called Cristina. She looks after Portugal and Spanish mortgages. Spanish mortgages are slightly different, so that's where Sasha comes in and he's going to explain a little bit about the rates and things like that. And while we do it, we're going to resist drinking the champagne, which will be the hardest part of it. Okay, so Sasha, mortgaging in Spain, the process very similar to other places, but would you like to explain what people need to do to apply for a mortgage?
It's very simple. So the first step, I think, is obviously once you've decided on the property that you're purchasing, at the amount that you're looking at purchasing it for, then what we would get you to do is first of all fill in a sort of a mortgage inquiry form, which will be sent to our mortgage department run by Cristina. She would then send it out to 2 or 3 Spanish banks just to get an assessment and to effectively give a nod that you can get a mortgage.
Like a pre-approval.
Like a pre-approval, exactly. It's a pre-approval.
And you can even do that before you find the property.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If you have a sort of a budget in mind, we can certainly do a pre-approval on that. Or indeed, we can just make an assessment, say, look, this is the maximum amount that you could borrow, regardless of what the property is, and then you know exactly what your parameters are. And then you can start looking for a property after that. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
And what kind of rates are we looking at there?
So the average rate, well, I would say it's between sort of 1.75% and 2% is sort of the average rate for a Spanish bank, which I think is very good. That's a variable rate.
Yeah.
You can borrow for up to a period of 20 years, and it must terminate by the age of 75.
Okay.
You can borrow up to 70% on the mortgage, and that's it.
Okay, so if you're doing it up to the age of 75 and you're a couple, they'll take it on the oldest age of the couple.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If anybody's got any questions at all on Spanish mortgages, please do contact Cristina. Cristina's email will be on the webinar so that you can get in touch with her and she will be able to help you through the whole process. She will make sure that all the paperwork's handed in for you. She'll tell you what you need and she will also translate things into English if you don't understand it, if it's in Spanish. So easy process. Get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the close of day one. I hope you've got lots of information out of that, whether it be in Portugal or Spain. Tomorrow we'll be bringing you some more information. Please tune in and watch with us. There's lots more different things going on. And if you've got any questions at any point, you can go on chat through the webinars. So we'll see you tomorrow.